And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge. I'm Anthony Irwin. Not as always, but joined very, very frequently.
Yes.
By Aaron Larsuel. That is him. You heard him right there. He is of All Access Lakers. He is of the actual Lakers in his own way. He is the man, and he is also the guy who had me starting entire societal debates inside a Costco last week. Aaron, how you holding up?
Well, the reason I was cooking for our unhoused friends and neighbors here in LA. So and then after that, I went to that was Thursday, which is why I wasn't on the show last week. And then directly after that, I went to Shreveport, Louisiana, to watch my California Golden Bears get their teeth kicked in the Independence Bowl that literally me and 4 other people appeared to care about on planet Earth. And then came back, rushed back Sunday, watched my Niners. I got the Niners hat on. I met Puka Nacua at the game last night. It was very friendly. Was happy taking some pictures. So he's made me like 1/64th of a Rams fan, just to support him. It was really, actually quite nice. He had very complimentary things to say about the 49ers. This is why I have the hat on. And then I watched the Lakers not be great last night, and now here I am. So how am I holding up? I'm all right, brother. How are you? It's been a lot going on recently, but how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Shout out my 49ers best team in the NFL is why I have the hat on for Puka. I told him I was coming on the show today and that I was going to wear a 49ers hat. So
yeah, well,
really, but by the way, I know
I'm not going to
you're a
support you
Vikings
in
fan,
that.
But really good dude, a really nice guy, a really good dude. So it was fun to hang out with him yesterday. Yeah, he's like a really like wholesome and
he's still a rookie, right? He is a
rookie. He's going to win Rookie of the Year.
To him, so
he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Today on the show, we're going to be talking about, and if you are watching live, you can see there on the right side of your screen what we are going to be talking about. The Lakers are 2 different teams this season.
Okay.
When they play in the in-season tournament and there's money on the line, they look like world beaters. When they aren't playing in that setting, they are a basketball team. So we're going to be talking about, throw out some theories for why beyond the cynical ones. We are going to also talk about LeBron and AD's minutes. They continue to either creep upward or stay at a level that I am starting to get a little concerned about. And then at the end of yesterday's Lowdown, I talked a little bit about some potential tension and the potential impact that trade rumors might be having on the Lakers, as they do with every team. Everybody likes to, say that they don't read the headlines, don't read the stuff and all of that stuff. They don't read the rumors, but it's impossible to be a human being and not read that stuff. And I think it is, and based on some of the stuff that I've heard, some of that noise is creeping in and creating some tension there. So we'll talk about how teams handle that. Before we get to any of that, though, Aaron, I, because I am a big J journalist, and because I am, I didn't go to Northwestern. They were beneath me. I thought.
Basically, it's only Northwestern and Syracuse are basically your only options if you want to cover sports.
I stuck with Cal State Fullerton, where Mark Stein,
that's right.
Obviously a fellow Titan, and Mark Stein.
That's right.
Some dude named Harrison also went there.
Good, but generally a good college baseball team.
I am not journalistically trained, but I am journalistically able, and I was able to unearth, Aaron.
And you, by the way, journalism, as we talked about last week, journalism matters to you.
It does. I don't know why. I don't know, whatever. But like, to show how much journalism means to me, I was able to unearth a video of the banner celebration the Lakers wanted to put out there yesterday. Do you want to see this? Do you want to see the?
I don't think I have a choice.
here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
Not only are you a journalist, you are a wizard. I mean, you're basically like Grant. You were just a wizard with photo and video editing. How long did it take you to put that together?
Oh, it took all of 5 seconds. I mean, it's literally just like grabbing the
I
video.
know, which is why you know what the quality of it is not. What I don't. Now, to be fair, I was in. I was not out on the floor when these festivities were taking place, so I guess I can't say that I cared enough to watch the unveiling of the banner. I think the banner looks good, and I like the idea of doing it in a way where it does not necessarily compete with the other championships, with the world championships, with the NBA championships. I think it's like fine. I heard Harrison call it, and I agree with this. I heard Harrison call it on the show the other day, like a high school banner. Like it looks like if you go to your high school and like we won,
you see the league
we won the city like or the league cross country championship in 71, 74, 75, 76.
Yeah.
It was a good run then. You know what, like 79, 85, 2000 and 2015. So yeah, I can't say that I was like that into it because frankly, I didn't go out there to watch when it was happening. But under the circumstances, I think it was done as well as it could. Like, I think it's done as well as possible. How about that?
Are you willing to confirm or deny my suspicion that the league kind of nudged the Lakers?
No, that was not what you said. What you said is like forced and made, etc. So what I will tell you is the Lakers were having conversations about whether or not they were going to do it, whether or not we were going to do it, I guess you can say. And I don't think a decision had been settled upon yet. And the league was very encouraging of the Lakers. And I don't think it's the Lakers specifically. I think it was whoever was going to win, but it was the Lakers in this case. The league was very encouraging of whoever won putting up a banner. Did not mandate, did not force. I thought I didn't love your conversation about why does the league care about this and not all of these other maybe social issues. The league cared and wanted the Lakers to put a banner up, but did not force, it was not mandated, but the league encouraged the Lakers to do so.
Okay, so it's a semantics thing.
Hennessy is no.
It is.
It's not semantics. No, the league could have forced the Lakers. Actually, I don't know if the league could have forced the Lakers. The league could have said you have to, and the league didn't do that. The league basically said we would like you to.
So it was like pretty pleased with a cherry on top rather than, you
have to
do this.
It was how you talk to me about doing a show versus how you talk to your kids about what time they're going to bed or what they're going to eat or whatever.
I'm not encouraged,
but not required.
I just figured we would, get that on the show. Just, because I had done so much speculation about it, and I figured we would hit on that. I don't want to spend too much. Honestly, I don't even want to spend any more time on it. I made fun of it. I'm going to continue to make fun of it. I don't like that it's flying in the arena. And I think had the Lakers made a little bit more noise about not wanting to break tradition, all the people and all the fans who have been telling me how wrong I am on this subject would agree 1,000,000% with me. And that's the stance that I'm going to maintain. But I am legitimately curious about this though. And like I said, today's show, we're going to be talking about this phenomenon about, with the Lakers being 7-11 in in-season tournament games and 7-0 in in-season tournament games. They have a very clear and distinct level of force that they are playing with in those in-season tournament games. And that's even like not even the knockout. Like it'd be one thing if it was the knockout stages and you're there anyway, you may as well win it and win yourself some money. But the group stage, games that they were playing in looked very different as well, beyond the migraine-inducing court that they were playing on. It just
Here you go again. All right. Yes. Continue.
but I want
Migraine inducing is that's nasty work from you. That is, to use a phrase of the kids, the online kids these days. Migraine inducing is nasty work from you.
literally gave D'Angelo Russell
That
a
is
migraine.
nasty
He's
work
dealing
from
with
you.
he is dealing with migraines as we speak, but and giving migraines, it sounds like. But
Okay.
The regular season and in season Lakers have been so starkly contrasted that it is impossible not to notice it. And I have a couple theories on what's going on from like a basketball standpoint there.
Mhm.
I think the Lakers are aware of the type of basketball that they need to play when it comes time to win basketball games. And I think they are still feeling themselves, the roster, the rotations, the style of play that they can be playing. They're still feeling that out as they go along. And I think that's kind of the starting point for the difference, is that in the in-season tournament, when they decided to flip that switch and do the things that they know that they have to do to win basketball games, to win basketball games. And in the regular season games that they have played in, either they have tried to flip that switch and it hasn't happened, or they have tried to flip that switch and they waited a little too long to do it, or it is, some of the things that they are trying out were just that harmful that it becomes difficult to make up for those kind of bad habits. But from where you're sitting and standing and all of that, like why are the Lakers so different in essentially they're playing the same teams? Like what's going on here?
So that was the first thing I was going to say. They're not playing the same teams. I think it's two things. I think mostly it's just random. I do think the guys cared about winning. I think LeBron specifically cared about winning the first one. But everybody cares about regular season games, right? So, or they don't. Either they care or they don't, right? No. What I'm saying is everybody cares or everybody doesn't care. Like, I don't think the in-season tournament provided that much juice for regular season games. I think it provided some, but I don't think it provided a ton of regular season. I think the games were a little bit more competitive. My point is, if you don't care about the regular season as a player, it's not going to flip the switch where you care. I do think it will. I think incrementally it helps a little bit. So I think part of it is just completely random. And I think that a lot of it also is, and look, this is not the Lakers' fault. You can only play who's on your schedule. I talk about this in college football, right? Like
They had a bad group.
Florida State,
They had a
right?
weak
Florida
group.
State didn't like. Florida State went undefeated and didn't go to did not make the playoffs in college football, and they were like, well, who did they beat? Everyone on their schedule. Like, who else could they have beaten? They beat everybody on their schedule. The Lakers' path to
But they're
title,
also in charge of their schedule, right? Like
somewhat.
Florida State, like for the Lakers, like they weren't.
I mean,
They
played
weren't
Florida.
in control of like the groups that they were put in,
Correct.
right? It's not
But
quite
that's the
apples
point,
to
right?
apples.
Like the Lakers group sucked. I mean, the Lakers' path to the in-season tournament title was bad. The Lakers didn't. You were like, they're playing the same teams. Well, they're not playing the same teams. The Lakers' path there was bad. The teams were bad. The teams, it was an easy path. So the Lakers did, and it's not the Lakers' fault. I just think that the delineation between in-season tournament and not in-season tournament, the quality of competition has something to do with it also, right? Like Indiana,
Also,
that Indiana doesn't count because it was the championship game. Indiana's fine. The Pelicans are fine. But like, other than that, it was not good. Memphis is awful.
so do you have the Knicks as a better team than Indiana?
Yeah, the Knicks are better than Indiana.
Do
I
you have
prefer
the
watching.
Spurs as a better? Do you have the Spurs as a better team than the Pelicans?
No, the Spurs are not better than anyone but the Pistons.
do
And maybe
you have the Dallas
maybe
Mavericks?
the Wizards.
The Dallas Mavericks without Kyrie Irving is better than the Phoenix Suns?
The Phoenix Suns without the Phoenix Suns. My point
They've
is,
played like
okay,
KD
no,
played
but
at that
those are one-offs, right? And the Lakers did not play everybody against the Spurs. Those are one-offs. In general, and anybody can beat anybody on any night. The Suns were certainly not at full strength. The Memphis is just plain bad. Like, this is not, the group was not any good. And so the Lakers, relatively, compared to the rest of the Lakers schedule, those games are an easier portion of the schedule. I do think most of it is just random chance, but the Lakers also had an easy schedule. That's why, one of the reasons why the Lakers.
So you see you see no difference in the way that the Lakers are playing in the regular season games compared to the in-season tournament games. No difference in minutes allocation, no difference in intensity, no difference in engagement and discipline and focus defensively.
So you want to talk about minutes coming up as part of the show later. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, Anthony Davis played 46 or 40. Anthony Davis played a bunch of minutes in a couple of those games. Anthony Davis played a lot of minutes last night. Not quite the same. I'm not saying there is no difference. I'm saying I don't think it's like a huge, big, there is a delineation between in-season tournament games and not in-season tournament games. I think there was 10% more juice for the in-season tournament games, 15% more juice for the in-season tournament games. I think that LeBron definitely cared about winning the first one. I think the teams in aggregate, the teams that the Lakers played on that path were not very good. And I think most of it is just random happenstance.
I mean, I disagree, but
yes, I clearly
you mentioned LeBron caring more about it specifically. And if LeBron cares more about something specifically, he is the Lakers tone setter, right? He has been the Lakers tone setter since he got
if
to
LeBron
LA.
cares, everyone cares.
Yeah, and so if LeBron is going to be
fair, that's not true of only the Lakers. If LeBron cares, then all the players care around the league.
Oh, well, I think he has more of an impact on the guys around him than
that's
the guys
fair.
around the league.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think, and for the sake of this conversation, right? If LeBron cares and plays with 10 to 15% more juice, and the Lakers are going to reflect that, and I do think the type of defense that they were playing was very different, and also they're just general approach to the game where the reason I was I considered the Lakers top tier championship contenders. I lumped them in with the Nuggets and with the Celtics. And I actually had them leapfrogging the Bucks in this regard. But with the type of defense that they were playing, where it was swarming, they had all their wings out there at the same time. And the Lakers were doing I thought going into last night that the Lakers would do more blitzing of Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo because they're shorter guys. They tried to blitz Luka, but he's so tall and he's so strong that I don't think it really matters.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry. No,
but and you had LeBron playing that free safety role where he's able to remain engaged, but be a little bit more stationary. It's been frankly pretty shocking to see the step back in discipline and engagement and in approach. And it has looked a lot like the Lakers looked like at the beginning of the year, where I think Darvin wants them to be this half-court execution team, and he wants to beat teams that way. But I don't think the Lakers are equipped to do that. If Taurean Prince is your best shooter and the ball is going to keep finding him wide open on the perimeter, last night he shot 13 threes. And, I made the joke in last night's Lowdown that if you were open for 13 threes over the course of a pickup game, right, and you kept missing them, at some point your teammates are going to be like, hey, man, why do you think you're open? Why do you think they aren't guarding you? Just out of curiosity.
What I always say when I don't play anymore. I used to be good. I used to be really good. I don't play anymore. But what I would always say, if somebody took an awful shot, I would just walk up to them and go, is that the best one we can get? You think that's the best one we can get? I mean, if so, okay, but is that the best one we can get?
Do you say that at all to Torian Prince on his sidestep threes? Do you just, hey man, hey TP, there's 7 seconds left on the shot clock. You think you maybe hold out for a better look?
To be fair, Torian has been shooting the hell out of it recently.
Yeah, and he regressed to the mean last night. I don't think he's going to be a 40% 3-point shooter this year.
He
promised us
3-point shooter his whole life.
I don't see it this year.
Okay.
For whatever reason, it just doesn't happen with the Lakers. Like you keep on getting annoyed at these myths that you think that we proclaim, but no, guys come to the Lakers, forget to shoot, leave the Lakers, and remember how to shoot. Look at Malik Beasley.
Yeah. It was hurt, by the way, but yes.
Malik Beasley
shot it better this year than he shot it with the Lakers last year.
Malik Beasley could lose a hand and be a better shooter in some other team than he was for the Lakers.
Wait, which hand? Not his right hand.
Right.
Not his right hand. Why
ball up there?
Why are you amputating guys? What?
I'm in a dark place.
Yeah, so it appears.
But the theory that I also have is in terms of approach, I think that the regular season, and this isn't a Darvin Ham thing. This is a thing that, Frank Vogel did a ton, and all smart teams and smart coaches do, where the regular season is about, racking up wins when you can get them, but also getting reps to the guys and to the combinations that you feel the need to get them to over the course of the season, even if it means, suboptimal results, in certain situations.
As long as you stay out of the play-in, yes.
And I think in the in-season tournament, seeing as LeBron seemed to care about it more, and once they got into the knockout stages, again, the focus was winning basketball games, and I think the regular season is a different focus. That's not to say that they don't care about winning basketball games, but I do think that some of these combinations and stuff, as they aren't working, they're being given more chances than they would be in games that you definitively and definitely have to win. And I think that's playing, having its toll on it. So
I agree with that. I think you're right. I think that Darvin is, only what was it? I think 9 guys played last night, and Jackson played 8 minutes or something like that. So, so as far as the total of the rotation, the number of guys playing, it was fairly playoff-ish. It was fairly, we're trying to win this game-ish. But I do think you're right in that Darvin is trying some things and trying to find some combinations. And you can look at it 2 ways. One, what is going on? You're going to lose, whatever, 1 game or point whatever games or 2 games or 1.8 more games during the regular season because you're doing that as opposed to trying to win every game like it's a game 7. So that's one way to look at it. What are you doing? Go win every game you can. The other way to look at it is give some credit for the fact that the Lakers have put themselves in a position so far that they can try things to see what they work, because you're pretty confident the Lakers are not going to be in the play-in or miss the playoffs entirely.
Well, you can't.
No, we always talk about who's the team. The Warriors are the team of my youth, right? And every Warriors fan hates what Steve Kerr has done. And now the Warriors have benched Andrew Wiggins and would have benched Looney until Draymond needed counseling. My point is the Warriors dug themselves a hole like the Lakers did last year, right? Where you don't have the luxury of, hey, can we try to find these things to get optimized for the playoffs? The Warriors and the Lakers last year, after starting 2-10, you don't have those. You have to do it now. You have to. You can't mess around and try to find things. So I would say it's a good thing.
Although I do think the Lakers occasionally look longingly at the shovel. They haven't dug themselves a hole yet, but there's a shovel in the room, and they're like, "Wonder what we could do with that."
Remember when we were 2-10 and had to fight for our lives and trade most of the team to get back to the game? Remember when we?
I
Let's
feel
do
like
that again. No,
they have that shovel in the corner of their room, and it's just Torian Prince, D'Angelo Russell, and Austin Reeves holding it like it's a trio.
Is it at least the gold plated shovel that they do like for the ceremonial? We're breaking ground here to build a new whatever.
They're like it has D'Lo, Austin, and Prince's names engraved on it.
Easy.
And
Austin,
Ham is
was
like
good last. Austin was good
hmm.
last night.
It's no, I don't have any. Well, D'Lo, I have a bit of a problem with right now, and Prince has been kind of annoying over the course of the season. Austin, I don't really have a problem with, but those three together, it's like, whew, man, you know.
Should we call it imperfect?
It's like yeah, I enjoy wine, I enjoy whiskey, and I enjoy tequila.
Right.
I don't want all three of them in the same beverage. You know?
No, that does not. Doesn't sound great.
And that's essentially like, and the Lakers, when those three guys are out there, are about as productive as me with all three of those substances in my body.
I went to a basketball game last night. I left the basketball game, and the friend I brought to the game, it was her birthday. Then we went out after the game and consumed beverages. And then so it was you're saying you were less productive. You're saying the Lakers are less productive than that last night if when those three are on the court together. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I would say so.
Maybe if they added Hennessy or unnamed cognac, it would be better. Who is by the way in this analogy, who is unnamed cognac? Who on the Lakers roster is unnamed cognac?
I mean, it's got to be like LeBron or AD, right?
That a boy.
It's like it's very productive for
feel
this
better
show.
about myself. Feel better about myself now.
All right, let's. Speaking of LeBron and AD, you see that segue there?
I do.
LeBron and
professional
AD,
broadcaster and capital J journalist.
And Photoshop extraordinaire.
Yeah, what font is that, by the way?
This one?
Oh yeah, no, it looks like, is it like the spray paint kind of? Like,
no, it's like, yeah, it's just like it's essentially it's what I was going for is like it's almost exactly the type of font that I write with in real life.
Oh, all right, I like that then. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So the Lakers so far this season. What's that?
You probably need to go back to first grade, but okay.
How dare you? I actually have very good writing if I have to be, because I was going to be a civil engineer, and so like drafting was a big part of our thing. So if I really want to,
like, try, okay, all right, I like it then.
All right. So this season, Anthony Davis is averaging 35 minutes a game, and LeBron James is averaging 34 minutes a game. I think that's a little high for both, especially compared to the minutes allocation Darvin Ham promised to us at the beginning of the season with LeBron, where he was going to be playing sub 30 or 30 or less. But the problem is they can't play fewer minutes because the Lakers are a tire fire when those guys aren't on the court for a variety of reasons. So are you concerned about the like if you are you concerned, and if you aren't, at what point would you become concerned?
Am I concerned about how many minutes they're playing?
Yeah.
See, now you're gonna make me like be Darius again, like yes and no, right? I'm kind of be Switzerland here. Excuse me. So it is a lot of minutes, which is sort of concerning. It is also somewhat concerning, as you mentioned, that the Lakers have trouble without them. It's also kind of understandable because they're two of the best, 7, 8, 10, 12 basketball players on planet Earth. So it's kind of understandable. D'Lo and Austin, who are the look, the Lakers defense just isn't going to work without AD, period, end of discussion.
Yeah. The Lakers, by the way, are negative 6.3 points worse per 100 possessions with AD off of the court, and they are negative 7.4 points per 100 possessions with LeBron off of the court.
Yeah. So, and that's
So
what you see
he's
with.
just
That's what you
leading
see
towards
with guys that go right. That's what you see with KD and with Luca
Yeah.
and with Steph and with Jan. Like that is what you see with those kind of guys. And the Lakers have two of them. So yes, I have some concern about the amount of minutes they play. My bigger concern is that they have to play those minutes because the Lakers can't function without them. Defensively, I didn't expect the Lakers to function without AD. They're just not. Like the Lakers, like just I don't care who you trade for, what the Lakers can't guard without AD. Period. End of discussion. With AD on the floor, they are among, if not the best defenses in the league. Without AD, you just can't. Period. End of discussion. The offense, though, is what is concerning to me, and I think it's largely because Austin and D'Lo haven't had the seasons to this point that was expected. And D asked the question there, we're 20th ranked in offense. Why? I think this is a lot of it. I think it's that Austin and D'Lo, who are, the second and third creators and the third and fourth offensive options haven't been good enough this season yet. Doesn't mean they won't be. It doesn't mean they can't be. They just haven't been yet. So that part is concerning.
That matters a little bit less with D'Angelo Russell moving forward, especially after January 15th.
So that part has been concerning to me. But again, then like the reason why I said you're making me Darius and there's a yes and no here, and I'm kind of Switzerland. The positive to it, though, is that these are two guys who over the last few years have not stayed on the court a ton. Yes, it makes it kind of scary that like is the load on them too much. But then if you want to take the positive side of it, the other side of the coin is that they've both only missed 2 games each, and one each was for rest just to kind of sit them out. So like due to injury, they've only missed 1 game each this year due to not being available 1 game each this year. And so that's kind of a positive thing. But I think it's fair to look at it both ways. LeBron will also tell you, he's told me this privately, he's told everybody that will listen publicly when he's asked, that he feels better. Even now, he feels better when he plays more. He would, like, if he's going to sit, fine. But if he's going to play, he prefers to play more minutes. He feels better when he plays more minutes in individual games. And I'm going to take the man at his word. So I think there's 2 ways to look at it, but I do understand. I do think there are some fair concerns about it.
I think on the positive side for me, those guys are playing more minutes, but when the Lakers are throwing out there all of the wings that they can, those minutes are a lot easier than traditionally speaking, right? Like these aren't the same, like LeBron per minute isn't putting out the same type of energy as he would his first year with the Lakers, where he had to carry that whole stupid experiment of surrounding him with a whole bunch of guys who can dribble and pass the ball.
I'm not going to let you're not going to talk about Lance Stevenson like that. That's my guy.
I could talk about him in way worse.
You're not going to talk about my guy Lance Stevenson and his Navy, his Navy do-rag, his Navy. I don't even remember what material it was, but not normal rag material. But go ahead, continue. Sorry.
So I think, if they were to commit to that type of identity, that type of defense, and that type of personnel, I would be a lot less concerned about their minutes totals. It's the fact that the Lakers go from a complete and utter disaster defensively to among the league's best defensively when AD steps off of the court. That is a little concerning to me because, we saw it last night, and I made this point on All Access Lakers, which, by the way, create an account, come watch games with us. Playback.tv/All Access Lakers is where you can find.
I'm gonna have a little VIP giveaway here coming up too. So but continue.
Mm-hmm. We kind of sort of had one last night. If you've tuned in and listened to it a little bit,
I got one for you.
All right,
continue. Yes.
So anyway, last night the Lakers went to LeBron at the 5 because Christian Wood hasn't been very good this year, and Jackson Hayes, I think, also has been kind of underwhelming. And when they went to LeBron at the 5, you saw, so essentially when the AD is out there, guards and wings and everybody on the perimeter can kind of funnel guys towards AD and be made to look like much better defenders than they actually are. But when AD isn't back there and that rim protection becomes LeBron and Rui Hachimura, those guys look way worse defensively. And I think it's why I think over the course of the season, the Lakers are probably going to look to upgrade from Wood and Hayes to get somebody back there that they can funnel guys to and be more consistent defensively than they have been when AD steps off of the court. I don't think he'll ever be anywhere near as good, but I do think they'll be a little bit better than they've been with like Wood and Hayes out there.
Yes. But I think part of the problem is that I think the Lakers have spent too much time. So, all right. So AD allows you to do basically anything schematically defensively. AD is that good. You can basically do anything. The Lakers generally play a lot of drop with AD and kind of just let him roam in the paint and block shots and deter guys. And it works very well. AD is also capable of getting out on the perimeter, and as well as anybody is going to dance with Steph or Dame or Trae Young or whatever, or Luka or any of these guys, Kyrie. I think AD is as equipped as you can basically possibly be as a center to do so. I think the problem though part of the problem has become, I don't like that the Lakers have basically stayed in scheme with Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood on the floor, because those guys are better as like blitzing, hedging, trapping,
even
or
switching,
just straight switching, right? Like those guys are physically capable. Look, again, nobody can do it. If you're 7 feet tall, 6'11", you cannot dance with Steph. Just like literally you can't. No one can. And Dame, like all the guys I just mentioned. But those two guys are better equipped to do that, or blitz, trap, hedge, high hedge, and come back, than they are to just play the drop that AD plays a lot. I think the Lakers have not done a great job of scheming their defense to who is on the floor. I think they have played Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes and dropped too much. And it's not what they do best. And by the way, neither of them is a good defensive player. But I do think you should lean into what they do best and not what the scheme is, because AD can do anything, because AD's, whatever. AD and Draymond and Rudy Gobert, like that's the list of. Jaren Jackson Jr. is fine. He's not fine. Jaren Jackson Jr. is really good. He won Defensive Player of the Year last year. He shouldn't have, but he did. But like the list of those guys, and other than Draymond, AD is the only one of those dudes that can like do all of it. So I do think the Lakers could do a better job of changing the scheme up when Jackson and Christian Wood are there to help them out defensively.
The other thing here too, because what you're talking about is kind of it's closer to in-game adjustment than it is to macro adjustment, right? And I think one of the frustrations that I have with Ham is the lack of in-game adjustment, lack of timeouts, stuff like that. And I've made that point, and one of the counters that I've gotten, whether in my mentions or on the show, is, well, you need to have these reps on a macro level to be able to build on over the course of the season. And yeah, you do, but I also think like an important rep that you figure out over the course of the season is to be able to, as a team, make that adjustment. For Ham to see something in a game and adjust to it in a game, and have that team implement that adjustment in that game. That's something that the Lakers just haven't really done very much of with Darvin. I think he like in the series that the Lakers played in, right? You saw game to game adjustment that was pretty good, right? Like Rui guarding Jokic was something that like was a game to game adjustment. Jared Vanderbilt would start series in one role and finish series in a different one, right?
Mhm.
And that's a game to game thing. Cam Reddish, as another example, is somebody who I didn't have in the rotation, all of a sudden was a part of the rotation. And
Yeah.
that's a very good game to game adjustment. Finding
Mhm.
him and getting him to play this role is a very good game to game macro type of adjustment. But we aren't seeing enough, I don't think, micro adjustments. And this is the kind of thing like you're talking about where, okay, here in this game, while AD is on the court, we're playing this way. All right, we have different personnel. We have to play this other way. And I think that is something that, and again, like, a reminder, if anybody needs it, that Darvin Ham is still only a second year head coach. That is a part of the toolkit that I think he is still working to add to it. And, that's a process. And if he's able to, some coaches aren't able to, right? His former boss, Coach Bud,
Yeah.
was not very good at and never became good at in-game adjustments and stuff like that. And it is something that Darvin, I think, is going to have to really work on to improve if he is going to be the type of coach that I think the Lakers and Lakers fans are hoping that he becomes.
So I think it's fair. I also think that I think the defense is fine. I'm more concerned about the offense. And if you want to put some of the question about the defense on it, still, I think the Lakers do play a pretty conservative defense and don't generate a ton of turnovers, which is fine. It's a fine way to
unless
play.
they're in the in-season tournament, at which point they become freaking maulers of worlds. But yeah.
So I do think that because the Lakers defense is so good and really good, I think that the Lakers could be more aggressive in trying to generate turnovers because the offense needs help. And the offense, I think last year was first in pace. I believe first or second in pace. The Lakers don't get out. The Lakers offense just plainly isn't good enough in the half court. And so I do think that I do think the defense could, because AD, frankly, and it's again, like, how fair is this? We're putting more on AD, but because AD is so good, I do think that the defense could take some more chances to try to create some more havoc. And some of this is personnel based also, right? Like Cam hasn't been playing a lot the whole season, and Vando is kind of just recently back. And those are two of the chaos creators. But I do think the Lakers could create some more chaos defensively because they know that AD is there.
For that matter, compared to the other guards that the Lakers have.
Very good point. Yep, very good point. In an effort to try to generate some easier offense, because the Lakers half-court offense just isn't any good. So I do think at some point, one of those adjustments that you're talking about is trying to create some more havoc so that the Lakers can get out and run.
That's mean, Richard.
No, I like it. I like it. I am.
The
Richard said
last
I'm dumb.
part
I
of
like
this,
it. I like it.
and the last part of the episode. By the way, you ever want to find some like people saying funny stuff about? Harrison reminded me of the stuff that Reddit says about me all the time.
Oh,
So if you just Google Anthony Irwin Reddit, that is
okay.
a fun.
All
That is
right.
a fun.
I like that.
Fun.
God, I wonder what they say about me. Actually, I don't think they say anything about me. I don't know. I'm not as cool as you are.
I think I'd rather people not say anything about me personally. But all right. So the last part of this conversation that we have to get to is D'Angelo Russell. And in December, he has been bad. I think the stats have finally updated with D'Angelo Russell, and I probably should have had this up while I was getting ready to talk about this. But in December this year, and it's been bad enough that Spectrum, a team partner, was pointing it out. But in December this year, D'Angelo Russell is really, really, really struggling. 6 games played. He has played 26.3 minutes in them. That is significantly down from the previous 2 months. And it's because he hasn't played very well. He is shooting under 40% from the field. He is shooting 30% from 3-point range. He has not, I don't believe, yeah, he still hasn't made a free throw in the month of December. He is grabbing fewer rebounds in the month of December. That is down. His total rebounds in October and November were 3.4 combined for those 2 months. Here in December, he is grabbing just over 2 rebounds a game. His assists are down in December. Steals are up, which is super weird and random to me, but steals has always been kind of a flawed stat. And his points are down. He is only scoring 9.8 points a game in December compared to the 17.5 that he was scoring in October and November. It has been bad. And that is just on the production side of things. And the part that I talked about yesterday on the show is how, on a few occasions, people have said that there's some annoyance with the way that he is playing in the locker room. And I do kind of think that as we get closer, like we cross that point in the season, he still can't be traded until January 15th, but we did cross that point in the season, December 15th, where trade talk becomes more real and more present in analysis of the sport. And as we get closer to January 15th, I do think we might continue to see a bit of a slide here with him as he gets ready to once again be the focal point of these trade rumors. And Aaron, this is where I think you provide unique value to shows, especially in like the Lakers sphere, right? And I'm not like saying anything negative about the other shows that exist out there, but you have unique experience compared to other hosts and co-hosts in shows that are doing this, given how close you have been to NBA teams and to this one. Do you feel like do NBA teams feel the weight of trade rumors? Everybody says that, yeah, we just got to play through it. We see the headlines, but you have to ignore it and all that stuff. But I feel like you can't. Like when you consider the type of seismic, like personal change that happens when a team when a guy changes teams or is getting ready to change teams, that feels like a lot to ask for, to just, hey, yeah, you just gotta play through it.
So yes is the answer to your question. I think actually teams in general feel it more than players. Like the team in total definitely feels it. Whatever. I could tell stories about guys having their lives uprooted. Some guys feel it more than others, right? And I don't know D'Lo well enough personally. I mean, I know him, but I don't know him well enough personally to know if that is have an impact into like his season. Although he very famously specifically agreed to not have the clause in his contract where he couldn't be traded. So like if he's feeling it, I don't think he's feeling it now necessarily. But yes, teams do feel it. Guys certainly feel it. How it affects them is kind of different for each guy. But as you talked about earlier, I don't remember why you were saying this, but you talked about at the beginning of the show. If any of the guys say that they're not hearing stuff or seeing stuff that is written, said about them, they're lying. Everybody, every single guy sees stuff, and they're all human. And it doesn't feel, maybe it does feel good, right? Because you want to be out of whatever situation is. But for the most part, it doesn't feel good to be talked about like you're getting traded. It's hard, right? And you see this all over the league. My thing with D'Lo, I think, again, like you're not going to like this answer, but I think it's mostly just random. He's cold right now, but I do think some of it is recently LeBron, who has kind of surveyed the landscape, has decided he's going to take over more. He's going to do more. I think it's part because he has surveyed the landscape, and partially because he has surveyed himself and said, like, oh wait, like I'm still that dude, right? LeBron said,
Yeah.
was it after last year? Excuse me, after the end of the Denver series,
I
and then
try to survey myself as little as possible. Like,
yeah, you're not LeBron, brother.
I dip, duck, dive, and dodge mirrors as much as I possibly can.
I know. Hey, look, I know that's right. Shit. You and me both, brother. I didn't put on,
If my body looked like LeBron's, I would survey the shit out of myself.
If I look like LeBron, I would wear compression shorts and a bow tie to church, and that's it. I would walk around the streets of Los Angeles. You would never catch me in a shirt ever in life. And maybe when I was like 85 years old, you would never catch me in a shirt. I literally would go to church looking like a Chippendales dancer if I was LeBron. Anyway, if I look like LeBron. Not if
I look like Chris Farley as the Chippendales dancer.
Right. Oh, yeah. With the Patrick Swayze, the SNL thing.
Yeah.
That's funny. So I think that LeBron kind of spent the first, month and whatever of the season kind of getting a lay of the land, and also with himself, like kind of checked in with himself. He's shot the ball incredibly well this year. He seems like healthy and kind of just looks like LeBron. And what I was going to is at the end of last year, he, there was that like thing where he was pretending like it was possible he was thinking about retiring, which was nonsense. Yeah. But he said it. But in that, he said, "I'm still better than like 95% of guys in the NBA." And I do think he like legitimately believed that. And I think this season so far, he has kind of checked in with himself and said, that 95% is 99%, right? Like I am still that guy. I'm not like just damn good. I am that guy still, right? And that guy is Joker and Luka and Steph and Giannis. Like there aren't many of them.
Last night's game.
There aren't many of them. Yeah, Steph was horrific last night, but there aren't, or excuse me, 2 nights ago. But there aren't many of those guys, and I think LeBron has like taken it all in and said, I'm still that dude. And so I think he is, as the season has gone on, he has taken on more of the offensive load and offensive responsibility, which is going to come at the expense of D'Lo, like plainly. That's the number one guy it is going to come at the expense of, unless D'Lo is just having a knockdown off ball catch and shoot season. And he isn't. Austin, aware, I think it was a little bit difficult for Austin. Austin's kind of rounding into form now more recently. I think that was a little bit of an issue too, but I think the thing for D'Lo, I think it's random. December has been bad, and he has given the keys back to LeBron more than we saw earlier in the year.
To that point, D'Lo looked his worst this season when he and Austin Reeves were trying to figure out how to play together, right? And D'Lo was moved off of the ball. Like D'Lo off of the ball, I was hoping it wouldn't look like this because of the type of shooter that he is. But, some guys just need to have the ball in their hands to feel like they are that part of the game. And he is one of those guys, apparently. That said, you need to figure out how to play with LeBron if you're going to be a Laker long term. Like that seems like an important part of your approach here. And, I do kind of wonder if that impacts the type of player that the Lakers maybe look to swap him out for if and when they look to do so. And
but tinfoil hat Anthony is my favorite Anthony. Trade machine Anthony is my least favorite Anthony. Can you do me a favor? Can you just probably not? But
depends on what it is.
Can you just switch from the regular trade machine to? I'm not going to give them credit, but if you type in NBA trade machine with draft picks, it's the. Can you just switch over to the trade machine that allows draft capital exchanged also? Because the trades you put out, I'm like, I know, which God forbid the ones you text me. But can you just please just switch over to the one? Because then I'll be like, oh, all right. I mean, he's like drunk, but he's not that drunk. Switch over to the one that includes.
All right. So the trades that I just threw out there for Substack last week when I wrote that was, they didn't involve draft capital for like it's too early right now for me to think about like who's attaching. Because the thing is, every single team right now is demanding like 3 extra first round picks for their guys because it's freaking December. And
we definitely, if rumors are to be believed from newsbreakers, we definitely saw Danny Ainge just up to his old tricks in Utah.
Right. And like, so the trades that I threw out there weren't trades that like I think are good ideas. They were meant to be reflective of the market right now. So like the Alex Caruso trade that somebody took issue with the other day, that isn't what I would trade for Alex Caruso. That isn't the deal that I would throw together for Alex Caruso. It's the one that Chicago is expecting right now on top of draft capital. They want you to take Lonzo's contract. They want you to give up like one unprotected first and another lightly protected first. They like the asking price on Caruso is so high right now that teams around the league are like, yeah, he's probably not even really going to be available this year. So yeah, like those trades that I put together out there, yeah, they were probably hard on the eyes or whatever. Maybe not as hard on the eyes as the in-season tournament courts, but they were probably pretty tough to look at. and they exist like that for a reason, because if the Lakers were to make a trade right now, they would have to be playing more because you're making that trade early in the season rather than as you approach the deadline and teams become a little bit more realistic to make trades that they know that they have to make. But anyway, like, I don't know, the thing with D'Lo, and this has been the case his entire career. I think he's very much a vibes guy. That's why he looks incredible when the Lakers have like a 10 to 15 point lead. He's a Hall of Famer when he's playing with a 15-point lead. And the vibes are good. And I think, right now the vibes aren't great. The Lakers have lost 3 of 4. They're clearly kind of backsliding on the other end of this in-season tournament. There are types of defense that the opposition can play that I think really gives them problems. And the Knicks play very much that type of defense, right? They're in your jersey. They hand check. They push you all over the court. He does not like dealing with that. And then there are like types of teams that I don't think he performs well against. And they're the types of teams that the Lakers need him to play better against. That's why there's so much trade speculation with him specifically. And, I part of me also, like, I hope I made this clear. I might not have in last night's Lowdown. If you are to believe the stuff that I have been told about the locker room and about his impact on it and some of the potential tension that exists there between guys in the locker room and him, I want to make it clear. I understand why he would have a difficult time committing fully to a team that is always looking around the corner for a better option there. Yes, it is a part of being an NBA player, and everybody who isn't named LeBron or Anthony Davis on this team are going to be looking around the corner because that's how things are done in the NBA and in professional sports. And it is part of being a professional to understand that and still try to perform through all of that noise. But I also have to, acknowledge that would be difficult, right? Like, I don't think, Aaron, you and I would have the same chemistry if after every single episode there were rumors of, yeah, Anthony is looking for a co-host with a bigger Twitter following, or if you were to say, or if like there were rumors after every
let behind the curtain.
Yeah, like if after every single episode I was to see some rumor that like Aaron Larsuel is looking for a host or a co-host who doesn't make him drink as much as he does with the talking points that I make, like that would be a difficult way for us to do this job.
The source on that was Anne. My mom was the source on that.
So like I when I report that stuff, or when I relay that information, I think need to do a bit of a better job of acknowledging why some of that stuff might be going on from a human standpoint. And with Russell here, especially given how his career has gone, I understand why he would be frustrated with, again, I just did a Lakers birthday party for my kid and we're here again. He could play better and he could make himself less of a trade target or a target for trade speculation than he currently is. But right now he isn't, and he's doing so in the month that precedes like trade season. and it makes it really difficult for like all of this, I think, kind of adds to each other. All of these factors add to each other. And I think that's why we're seeing the worst version of D'Lo right now. Hopefully he picks things up, but if not, it just makes December or January 15th that much more a notable date. I also like on the trade front, even if D'Lo continues to slide, there's no situation here from what I've heard to this point that like on January 15th, the Lakers say, all right, we're trading this guy. Like the return at that point would not be what they're looking for. If they do trade him, they are looking for a bona fide starter / closer who could play next to Austin. And in all of the circumstances, be productive or more productive next to LeBron than D'Lo has been lately. If or when they trade him, they're looking for an impact guy. And if they move him on January 15th, it's less likely that you're going to get that guy without having to pay extra for trading for somebody earlier in trade season. My last point on D'Lo, as it pertains to just basketball specifically, we've seen Austin and LeBron have a lot of success playing next to each other because they run more sets that involve both of those guys. And I don't know why we don't get more LeBron Austin pick and roll, whether it's inverted or run traditionally, because I feel like that's a good way to get D'Lo especially going and get him into space more often than he has been so far this season.
So it's not an unfair point that you're making. Usually those like small or medium small pick and rolls are done to try to hunt a mismatch, right? And so it would be done like in the playoffs last year, trying to get Jamal Murray or Steph or Ja guarding LeBron, and that's more of a playoff thing than a regular season thing, because a small pick and roll like that, although LeBron is not necessarily a small, but
please, by all means, call LeBron small.
Yeah, he's a tiny little baby LeBron. 268-pound tiny little baby LeBron, freight train LeBron. So I do think you will see more of that. I do think you will see more of that in playoff matchups, right? Because we were talking about like micro adjustments earlier. That's more of a playoff thing than a regular season thing. It doesn't mean it
involves D'Lo getting to the playoffs though. And
no, I'm not the D'Lo part of it. I mean the LeBron AD, LeBron AR pick and roll combination would either way, right? You can do it either way. But with LeBron as the ball handler, it's going to be done mostly to try to get a little guy on LeBron, somebody you think LeBron can overpower. So it's more of a playoff thing. It doesn't mean you won't see it. As it relates to D'Lo, I think I think that's more useful with D'Lo and LeBron playing pick and roll defense, or pick and roll offense rather, more than Austin, because you're more likely to get a traditional point guard, a little guy guarding D'Lo. So I would like to see it more between those two. But as you alluded to earlier, you were talking about the Austin and LeBron pick and roll as a possible way to get D'Lo going a little bit. there's also the problem of the three of them playing together was not great at the beginning of the year, and for the first however many games, it wasn't great.
Yeah, but that was with Prince, and you know,
Torian Prince has shot the ball very well recently, and I do think he's going to finish the
I think he
season
finished.
right around 40%, like always.
He missed his last 8 attempts in last night's game. 8 straight misses. All of them felt wide open.
He did
Wonder
not
why.
shoot-
I wonder.
Torian Prince did not shoot the ball well last night. I love unnamed cognac, and Torian Prince didn't shoot the ball well last night. Like it had a
That's
right
gonna be a
with Steph
shirt.
Curry. Wait, 2
That-
nights ago, Steph
that's
Curry
gonna-
was 0 of 8, right? Like it happens.
That's gonna be a T-shirt up here. I love unnamed cognac, and Torian Prince didn't shoot the ball very well.
Didn't shoot the ball well last night. He did not shoot the ball well last night. I shot better
All
than
right.
Torian Prince last night.
My son is yelling at me, so we have to get going here. I do want to finish on here because I'm going to take a lap for the amount of progress I'm making here.
Victory lap.
But Carlo, super fan Carlo says just came in to say your thumbnail skills are getting better by the day.
Love it.
Today's thumbnail is a doozy.
Love it.
Here's today's
Oh.
thumbnail.
My favorite part of this is I do like the I'm very look at the big dog and the little dog and the big dog. Look at you holding the in-season tournament trophy. I see you put the hats on the dogs. My
Mhm.
favorite part of it though is this font, which also you can see here on the
Okay, I can
on the
go back.
rundown. Yeah. My
Yeah.
favorite part of the font just looks I'm fascinated by your choice. You said it's because it's like your normal handwriting, but I'm
It's like-
fascinated by
you
your
know,
font choice.
Well, because it's the notes. Like, all right, these are the things that I'm quickly jotting down notes, and
Yeah.
I like that. The entire show. Like, you look at our Lakers Lounge logo. It's very laid back. It's very casual.
Yeah,
it's very
it
fun.
does. It does. You know, the font
so
does mix well.
we try
with
to have fun
the
here.
overall
on, Lakers
milieu.
Lounge. Yeah, right. I tried to do more formal stuff. It just didn't quite look right. So we are sticking with the informal.
I like it.
Aaron, this has been fun. Thank you very much for hopping on. Thank you everybody who tuned in. Big show here today. Big gathering. So thank you everybody for
Yeah, I
everybody
appreciate
who
y'all
watched.
hanging out with us. And by the way,
Um,
subscribe on YouTube if you haven't yet.
Yeah, subscribe, like, super subscribe if you want, and all of that good stuff. I will be back on All Access Lakers tomorrow night when the Lakers play against Chicago. My guess is Aaron will be there as well, at least for a little bit. So you can
yeah.
So Aaron and I will be there with Raj and with Shub and with Rome. You can check us out there. And make an account and all that stuff. Playback.tv/all access Lakers is where you can do that. Subscribe here, subscribe everywhere that you get your pods. And until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin. That was Aaron Larsuel. This was the Lakers Lounge.